Hey, good evening. This is Lawrence Story with Living in Green Pastures with Life Stories, America's Book of Treasures. And I'm here today to give you a special moment from the book Living in Green Pastures with Life Stories. And it comes from the title Hero to a Zero to a Hero on page 416 and page 420 of the book. You know, the famous NFL coach Vince Lombardi said one time, "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." Coach Lombardi believed in being a tough taskmaster for his players who he coached. He coached the Green Bay Packers. And if you know anything about the Green Bay Packers, they won many NFL championships. He loved his players, but he wanted to make sure he was able to get the best out of his players, the best effort out of them each time they touched the field. He wanted to make sure that whatever message they received, they could transfer that message not only from the football field, but they could transfer that message to their daily lives. Vince Lombardi was clear that he believed that without preparation and planning, you could not have a winning formula. But greater than that, he knew that without conditioning, the player would not be able to perform at his very best. So that's where the fatigue comes in. If you know anything about sports, you gotta get yourself in excellent condition physically so you can endure the mental and the physical stress that is placed upon you. In the life story, Hero to a Zero to a Hero, I shared my experience as a college football player and how I sustained a near career-ending injury, leg injury. When others gave up on me, it was through God that I persevered, trusting in Him and His unending power to get me through the situation and restore me. The planning, the work, and the conditioning that helped me to recover and complete my 4-year football career will never be forgotten. And participate as a starter in the College Bowl championship game. I'm going to read to you an excerpt from the writing Hero to a Zero to a Hero, located on page 416 of the book, The Life Story, and in the poem is located on page 420. And here's an excerpt from the poem. It says, "Highly recruited athlete he was with true abilities from God up above. He worked hard each day to prove his worth in sports, landed a scholarship. Now he was in the King's Court. Great expectations by his performance. He proved it all to be true, but on a rainy, soak-filled night, he almost was through. The ball was flying in the air, a kick, a punt, a fair catch would have been fair. But the drive and the will to prove it all, he got hit hard that night, and that began his fall." This excerpt from the poem began to talk about the story of a hero to a zero to a hero. And I hope you can get the book and read the full context of it. It's a great story, and I want you to really have it. But I wanted to say, when living in Green Pastures, we must never tire nor stop our conditioning for our lives. It's just as important as physically, as Coach Lombardi said, we must prepare and we must put ourselves in a position where we will train and understand and educate ourselves, not for the physical, but for the spiritual and the emotional and the mental, and trusting in God's grace and what He can do for us. That's our conditioning. And as we read the context that Scripture offers us, we should not tire, because the race doesn't go to the swiftest, it goes to the one who endures to the end. There will be many situations in life where we will be challenged, and we will have to go through pain and frustration. But permitting ourselves at times to go through that pain and come out on the other end victorious gives us a strength for the next situation. And as you know, that's life, and that's what we have to endure. It is those who don't permit themselves to go through the pain that end up in situations where they use drugs or alcohol or some other addiction to cover up the hurt or cover up the feelings. They end up being caught in a sphere of nothingness, and then they may not emerge until they're 30, 40 years old before they realize that I had to go ahead and let myself walk through this painful situation before I could recover. So those that are fighting drug abuse and alcohol abuse and addictions right now, know that the foundation of what you're going through probably had to do with some kind of trauma or abuse or neglect or loss. And you just don't want to feel the feelings. Well, you have to let yourself feel the feelings in order for you to recover from the feelings. So let's remember what Coach Lombardi said, fatigue makes cowards of us all. And actually that quotation came from George Patton, who was a famous general in World War II. So let's band together, let's permit ourselves to work through our painful situations, let's educate ourselves, let's strengthen ourselves for the challenge. And we can always then be able to win on the field of football, on the field of life, and enhance our spirituality as we walk through the fields of green pastures in our lives. I'm Lauren Story. I thank you for listening to me today through this special moment. Please push the subscribe button below. The address for where you can acquire the book, Living in Green Pastures with Life Stories, is below. Just go to Amazon.com and you can get the main book there, and then you can get the 3 workbooks as well. So until another day, until we bring another special moment, I want to say goodbye. God bless. Bye now.